Thank you very much, Tina, and thanks to the Toronto Public Library for hosting this event. I'm thrilled to be here. Well, actually, I'm slightly terrified to be here. And as you can hear, I have a cold, but this morning I woke up without a voice, and I thought, no one will believe me. And as Michael and I were waiting backstage, we realized we were both infinitely more anxious than we would be were the roles reversed. But first, with regards to Writers and Company's anniversary, and here I may be repeating something I've said elsewhere, but it does bear repeating, so I hope those of you who were at Harbourfront will indulge me. And this is where I have to tell you how privileged I feel to be here. Privileged to have access to the best writers in the world, one of whom is joining us tonight. It's also a privilege to have access to people across the country through a public broadcaster, and this is something that I'm acutely aware of when I go to other cities and when I receive mail and emails from listeners, and I feel extraordinarily lucky to have that privilege. I'm also lucky to work and to have worked with such supportive colleagues whose names you've heard. I owe a huge debt to the founding producer, Sandra Rabinovich, who continues to produce all special series, as well as many other major interviews. And I think there is a Sandra clack that started to applaud. And right. And to producer Mary Stinson, who's been with the show since 1995 and who's standing over there. And associate producer Nancy McElveen, with whom I've worked since 1994. In fact, I should tell you that this whole idea of turning the tables on me was Nancy's. So we had a good 16 years, Nancy, but it's too bad it had to come to this. Nancy McElveen. Thanks also to the ongoing support of CBC Radio, Arts and Entertainment, and in particular Kim Orchard and Susan Feldman. Before we start the show, I do want to give an enormous thanks to Michael Ondaatje, not only for tonight, but right from the beginning, from when I first moved to Toronto 23 years ago, actually. The first year I moved to Toronto, I was from Vancouver, and actually the first year I was in denial. And I would run into people and say, oh, you moved to Toronto. I'd say, no, I still live in Vancouver, but I'm working here now. So that's why I subtracted a year. It's actually a little bit like Tennessee Williams, who cut 4 years off his age, and when somebody challenged him on it, he said he didn't want to count the 4 years he worked in a shoe factory in St. Louis. But right from when I first moved to Toronto, whenever that was, Michael Ondaatje extended friendship and warmth. And after 2 years of Writers and Company, he encouraged me to publish some of the interviews, to put them together in a book. And in 1993, Knopf Canada and Harcourt Brace in the US published Writers and Company. And then in 1996, followed by more Writers and Company, and then Original Minds and so on. And then again, 10 years ago, in anticipation of Writers and Company's 10th anniversary, it was Michael who suggested we celebrate with a special event, and he agreed to participate, which was a huge draw for the other panelists, Richard Ford, Victoria Glendinning, and Mary Gordon. So when Nancy came up with this idea, I said, there's only one person I would want, thinking that would get me off the hook. Please welcome the most generous and kind Michael Ondaatje.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thanks.
I've been said anything yet.
Yeah, I know. Oh, sorry, you're testing this. Okay, okay. Okay, is this level okay? Yeah. Okay. The show's almost over now.
That was a good strategy. Do you need more from us? Okay, so do you want to say what you had for breakfast?
No, but I think they can hear me now.
Do you
can hear me now? Am I okay? Okay.
Enough? You have enough from Michael or more from me? More from me. Vitamin C, vitamin C and B, cold FX. This is lemon tea, which is perhaps not a good thing. There are different views on lemon tea.
Can we take a vote on that? Is it,
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we're ready to go?
Yeah. I'm Michael Ondaatje, and this is Writers and Company. Today, a special show with the Canadian writer and broadcaster Eleanor Wachtel, reflecting on 20 years of Writers and Company.
I just want to ask you a little embarrassing question. Mm-hmm. You pick romantic subjects to write about, the exoticism and romance of the desert. There's a lot of romance in your books and your poetry especially. You yourself, I think, cut a romantic figure. Have you always seen your life in romantic terms? Have you ever seen your life in romantic terms?
I don't see my life in romantic terms, but I want to see my life in romantic terms. I remember talking to you before, and the last time when I was hungover. And, when we did an interview the last time.
Well, to be fair, you had just, I think, found out you were on the shortlist for the Booker or something like that.
But I think there is a huge difference, I think, from the poems here and in the earlier books, only in the sense that they're cut down to kind of something as minimal as possible, to try and kind of melt it down to, one. It's like maple syrup,
It is not.
Sorry, bad image.
I don't want to correct your metaphors, but...
No, the boiling down, same.
At one point in the novel, Annals goes, you have three people, Annal, Sarathan, and Anda, the artist, in an abandoned building, isolated, cut off.
I know.
Sound familiar?
And I'm not quite sure why. Maybe because I didn't want to write about myself in some strange way. It was in some ways, a more public voice. It was a we voice, not we, W-E-E.
It wasn't a we voice.
My Scottish background.
Why is the artist called an artificer?
I don't know, isn't that okay?
Oh no, I don't. I thought it was a particular kind of word.
It's more technical in a way.
Yeah.
It's almost like a more mechanical thing in a way.
And when Ananda is up there, he reflects. He says he knew if he did not remain an artificer, he would become a demon. Do you understand why?
Yeah, that I understand. Finally, a question I can answer.
You see, I put it so tentatively now. What was your early life like in Sri Lanka?
Well, I think it might have been chaotic, but I remember it very romantically. Okay, here we are.
Thank you for that. Was reading a kind of transformative experience for you?
No.